And I walked out the door. My wife will attest to this. I got in the car and I said, this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. I had no idea what it meant, but I thought, this is what I'm supposed to do. So let me tell you a little bit about why we're here, why I'm here, and why Trinity's here. Some of you know my wife, Amanda. Amanda started Trinity Counseling back in 2003 at Coast Hills Church. And in 2015, Amanda and I took that ministry out of Coast Hills and we moved it to Crown Valley Parkway to make it accessible to more churches. And we serve approximately 100 families a week with low-fee Christian counseling. It's sliding scale, it's based on what the client can pay. And our objective with that has always been counseling change, correcting behaviors tends to happen because a situation occurs in our life. It's bad. Let's say it's a relationship issue. It's so bad that we say, I need help. And we go out and we seek help. And then we stop with the help at like 10 weeks because that's when our insurance ran out. Or we stop with the help because our partner behaved a little bit better for a few weeks and we went, okay, it's fine. Well, that's not true change. True change takes a lot of time. And so we always decided that we weren't going to put a financial impact on people. We wanted to allow people to take as much time as they needed to find that change. And during that period, in 2012, and in the video, I'll encourage you to watch this because I'm going to put a picture of this in it. In 2012, one of the people at Coast Hills, some friends of ours, first angel that came into my life in the dog training world was Greg and Joni Silvestri. They were friends of ours, and they invited us to go Christmas caroling in 2012. And I was in the peak of my career, very much involved with myself, and I sarcastically, they were on the phone, and I said, if I can bring my dog, I'll go with you, because I had no intention of going. And they said, oh my gosh, that's great. Our dog just passed away, and if you would bring your dog, that would be such a blessing. And I thought, oh crap, I got to go to this caroling event at this indigent care facility in Orange. Clearly, it was not on my agenda. But I committed to do it. I took my dog. The picture you will see is of the opening where we all showed up in front of this facility and this guy prayed over us. And there's a picture of me with that dog. It's a picture of everybody. But the picture of me looks like the 6-year-old me that was happy. I mean, this look on my face was just pure joy. It also, my eye was closed. It's an embarrassing picture. I hate looking at it for myself. But I look at it and I remember that was the moment that things changed, because we walked in to do the Christmas caroling and everybody went to the right and some lady in a wheelchair went like this. And I walked over to her, and an hour and a half later, I never caroled. I went through the entire hospital, room to room. It was just people were just like this. And I walked out the door. My wife will attest to this. I got in the car and I said, this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. I had no idea what it meant, but I thought, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I had 4 dogs, really out of control dogs, but I loved the heck out of them. So the very next day, that was a Sunday night, on Monday morning, I went on Google and I said, nursing homes near me within 5 miles, and I got a list. And right on the other side of that trail is Atria San Juan. And when I called them, they were the only ones that picked up and said, we would love to have somebody show up with a dog. And for the next 5 years, every Sunday at 1 o'clock, I took all 4 of my dogs over there and we would sit in the Alzheimer's unit on the floor and just play. And it was just this beautiful event. I really enjoyed it, and those angels, Greg and Joni, created that opportunity, and it happened because I said yes to something I didn't really want to do, and I showed up. And it was really great, but something bad happened at Atria. So a couple years into it, I was going every day, and I got real comfortable. And I was in a day room with a bunch of people older people watching television, and there was a guy about my age sitting in there. We were chatting. And he said, could I take your dog on a walk? Sure, take one of my dogs on a walk. And about 15 minutes later, I couldn't find him. And I found out that not always are the people in the old folks' homes old. Sometimes people that have mental issues or physical issues that can't care for themselves go to live there. He was a patient. He wasn't just some dude visiting his dad. that I thought, and we found him out in the street with my dog. And that moment to me was like a big red flag, right? I can't keep going and doing this service work if I don't have control over my dog. So the next angel appears, a guy named Chuck Williams. Chuck is a sheriff with the San Diego Sheriff's Department Search and Rescue Team, and he trains search and rescue dogs. And he said, was mentioning this to him, and he said, well, you need to go and get trained like we get trained. We go to Illinois to this place called Trinity K9. We live in this barn for 3 weeks, and we really understand what our dog does. Because if you think about it, police dogs and working dogs, they have to go do stuff like bite people and attack people, and then they come home to your house. How does that work? How could that possibly work? So he suggested I do this, go to this Trinity K9. So I agreed. I bought the ticket, I bought the package, I got a van, and I drove my 4 dogs 35 hours from here to Southern Illinois. And here's my first transparent big moment for you. I told you I really love dogs, I really like doing all this stuff. I wasn't good at it at all. I was pretty dangerous, quite frankly. 4 dogs with a bunch of old people, that was probably not my best idea. So driving 35 hours across the country, I'm thinking, this is gonna be a bunch of cops and a bunch of German Shepherds, and it's gonna be this crazy old dude from California in shorts and 4 dogs running around. And for 35 hours, I built this story up in my head of what was gonna happen when I got there. I bet some of you thought about what's gonna happen when I get here today with my dog, and is it gonna misbehave? So multiply that by 35 hours alone in a car, and you can imagine I was in a pretty negative space. So I come driving into this big, beautiful farm, big long driveway, and sure enough, at the end of the driveway, it's a bunch of cops and German Shepherds. And here comes this little crazy old dude from California. I open the back of the car, and what happens? Exactly what I imagined would happen. Full-blown chaos. My dogs come flying out of the car. It's dog fights everywhere. All the handlers their dogs are fine. My dogs are. And I was like, this can't possibly happen. I can't do this. And for the next 3 days, I had really bad anxiety. Anxiety with my dogs, anxiety about the situation. And I tell you all of this, 1, to tell you I'm human and I didn't know what I was doing when I started this, but 2, that I understand if you're stressed and have anxiety about your dog, we're gonna get through that. This whole environment at Trinity K9, and not only did I do it the first year, I came back the next year and did it for another 3 weeks, because I really just thought this is what I need to do to learn how to handle dogs and to help other people learn how to handle dogs. That was when I met my 3rd angel. Her name is Bohetia Doan, and Bohetia owns Trinity K9. And kind of an interesting story about Bohetia, she started training dogs in the 80s here with a guy you might know named Cesar Milan. And they parted paths in the 80s. He stayed here, you watched him, he's on TV, very successful, very famous. Same conceptual ideas, but she decided to take that approach with police animals, army animals, working service dogs. And so she trains working service dogs now. So she was the person that trained me. And I want to just take a quick pause and ask you, did you anticipate that your dog would be this calm 10 minutes into sitting around 11 other dogs? Nobody did. This is our calm state of mind, and our calm attention is being transferred to our dog right now. So